to coverage here at Grand Prix, Washington, D.C. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. I'm in the booth with Pro Tour competitor Kenji Egashira.
Hey, that's me.
And we're just about ready here for round number 10, where, boy, two of the teams that really rose to the top yesterday, Paulo Vitor Damarosa, Eric Froehlich, and Ben Stark, are facing down Ilie Cassis, Shaheen Soorani, and Noah Walker. Both teams in excellent position here on the second round of day number 2, sitting with an 8-1 record. Yes, remember, no buys in these team tournaments as well, so these teams are just legit 8-1. But this is an important round for them because they're not going to have a lot of wiggle room. One of the teams, the team that loses this round, they're going to have a hard time.
Right. You'll have to win out from here if you lose this round.
Exactly. So this is a big one, and of course they're both facing each other, both really good teams, and it's going to be a big hurdle to get by, though. A good start for Ben Stark with Deathbloom Thallid on 3. Turn 4, he had Cast Down for the Baloth Gorger. You and I have been looking at Cast Down and thinking, well, it's fine, but, you know, doesn't hit some of the cards you really want, but it sure looked good there. Noah Walker's going to take a turn off here to generate some card advantage, and he hits the second time, and he already had the Baloth Gorger in the first one.
Well, nice. Next turn, he's going to get 3 lands from his graveyard as well, so he's hit mono hits for that.
It was actually perfect for Mending of Dominaria there. Yeah, he hit all lands and then had a creature, so he's going to get all of those lands into play when it goes to chapter number 3. And thankfully for him, he has an Eviscerate to kill the Deathbloom Thallid. That said, he is down to 11 and under significant pressure, though.
Whoa, Ben, what are you doing over there?
Big turn for Ben Stark as he plays Sulfur Falls and passes the turn back. Huh?
4 swamps into Sulfur Falls is not exactly something that you expect. Noah was on green-black yesterday as well. Remember, these are completely new decks, so he has...
Hello! Kicked Josu Vez.
This is turn 6?
Yeah, a little ahead of schedule.
What?
But when you get all lands off of Mending of Dominaria, you can pay 10 mana and create a game-winning board state, thanks to Josu Vez.
So this is one of these cards that if you don't have an answer immediately, say Urza's Ruinous Blast, for instance, or you have the opponent, say, dead on board already in the air or something, you just lose the game.
That's right.
You just lose the game.
Here's Skin Witch, and you know what this is?
Just information.
This is information, yeah. Ben Stark knows that he's lost. That's 20 power, all with Menace from Noah Walker off of one card. Josu Vez kicked is one of the most powerful plays you can make in the format, and it looks like it's going to give Noah Walker the win. Although, interestingly, he's actually going to play Adventurous Impulse, which, if you're sitting in Ben Stark's seat, is more information. Wow. How about a Territorial Allosaurus to secure the win right now? No blocks possible, and that's a 20 even from Noah Walker, who finishes off Ben Stark with style and an army of menace creatures thanks to Josu Vez.
You know, even if Ben had hit his blue/red mana early, I don't even think it would have mattered because, again, the mending was so perfect. It just ramped him to that Josu Vez. So I don't even know what you could do if you don't have a counter.
Boy.
Right? Insane start for Noah. His deck looks very good, of course, but
Simon in the chat was speculating that Ben probably has Syncopate in his hand. There he plays a tap blue mana source. Yeah. All right, let's jump in and see what Ifro versus Shaheen Soorani are up to. Uh-oh. Shaheen is about to play On Sarah's Wings on something, but he is facing down a Varix Blade Wing with a couple of friends over there. Shaheen's deck looks much different. He's got the full non-bow here, 2 short swords and a Tetsuko.
Yeah, that's really awkward. The Relic Runner not even unblockable anymore, whereas it would be without the short sword.
Yeah, the short sword with Tetsuko is not generally the way you want to go. But he's going to go big here.
Okay.
Oh, but Wizard's Lightning for the blowout. Wow, Eric Froehlich, too. He's one of the few players that has the most nonchalant, like he just casually taps it and just says, yeah, that's not going to happen, buddy. Now things look awful for Shaheen. He's facing down a Baloth Gorger plus the Flyer.
What is this?
Lyra Dawnbringer off the top of the deck. Hello, my friend.
And now that's just gonna swing the game unless Eric can find something this turn.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the double sword equip. That's 7 life-linking first strike flying.
Holy smokes.
Oh.
And as much as Eric can be nonchalant with I'm just going to blow you out with this removal, he can do so also with the, well, I guess I'm dead now. Your turn.
So I think if you're in Shaheen's seat, you need to force the issue, right? You need to put Eric on a 2-turn clock.
Oh, yeah. Suit up those swords and
Right,
get in there.
exactly. Because you still have the Tetsugo to chump block the Baloth Gorger. Obviously, yeah, I think he just drew something in his hand for the turn, so maybe that changes his decision process. But, wow. Very swingy.
Shaheen does have a lot of options as far as equipping goes to maintain the 2-turn clock. The real question is, how much life does he need to gain on this attack? Because he could attack even just in the air and still maintain the 2-turn clock, go for the equip next turn, but he would gain less life doing so, and he's going to go for the full 7 here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if he doesn't have any follow-up play and Eric finds a removal for Tetsuko, then yeah, the game will still be over. But I think this is a line that you have to...
No, just equip.
Oh, no.
I think I'd just throw maybe one sword on Tetsuko and not lose to Fiery Intervention.
Yeah, I was just going to say exactly the same thing. You don't want to have the Lyra, be in range of any type of random burn
No,
spell.
but you don't want a Glider.
Well,
I mean, it is an additional lethal threat if Lyra were to die, but I think that they would just kill Tetsuko and kill you, so...
Right. Yeah, and that's what Shaheen's talking about with his
Ooh, the door is open here for Eric. If he has Fire Intervention, there's already one in his graveyard. This also could open up a potential for a multiple burn spell kill on Lyra. Something like Wizard's Lightning plus Shivan Fire.
Let's see if a Keldon Overseer maybe? Okay, he
It
does.
Is that lethal?
I don't think that's quite... Oh, it is.
He can block the
It is
4,
lethal.
4, 7, 8, 9, 10 exactly.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Eric Froelich just stole it right back from Shaheen.
And this is their game 1, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 exactly. Oh, boy. Early in the morning, we got fireworks down in the feature match area.
Well,
Turn 6, Josu Vest with kicker. And now we have... I'd like to win this game. No, I think I'll win it instead. Thank you very much.
You'll note that if Eric had one more land, he'd actually been able to kick the Overseers.
And make it not close.
Yeah, not even close.
What do you think Eric's whispering to Ben? I thought I was going to lose, but then I won.
I had it the whole time. I think Shaheen played that correctly, though. You need to force the issue, right? Because then you're just giving too much time.
Yeah, but Eric. I didn't like the double sword.
I don't like the double sword.
I think that was a mistake.
Like that played around a Shivan Fire at the very least. Because if you've already seen one Fiery Intervention, it's not, well, I guess this is team sealed, so.
Yeah, well, no, I actually think your point's correct, though. It's not that he might not have access to more Fiery Interventions, but Fiery Intervention isn't the best removal spell. Exactly. You don't necessarily run 4 of them.
And
right?
you're for sure running all of your Shivan Fire.
You have a really strong point there. Yeah, that is true. Playing around Shivan Fire may just be more important. Really interesting spot, though, for Shaheen down the stretch, but I definitely like his play of saying, okay, I'm going to kill you next turn unless you kill me.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Eric took him up on that offer.
Well, it just looked like he had missed a few land drops.
Yeah.
Shaheen did. And
he did.
So, yeah.
He needed that land number 5 to cast Lyra. In the meantime, let's jump back down to Noah Walker versus Ben Stark.
Uh-oh. Wow, Noah has a lot of acceleration in his deck.
He does now. Is there anything he can do with it? We saw Josu Vest in game 1, but that's not close here.
I mean, even just amending on this turn would be...
Ooh, how about lock down one of your mana on
Island
your
or Swamp? See you later.
Tap that Swamp. There you go.
I mean, you saw so many black sources from Ben in the first game. It would make sense that that's probably his main color. Although at this point now with a second Swamp, I think if you're Noah, if you're going to keep tapping lands, you just tap the island.
Oh, I'm with you, buddy. This is a really nice draw from Noah Walker. Although it does look a little bit worse now thanks to Cast Down. Noah on board with our plan. Kenji decides to start tapping down the island to take Ben off of blue mana, though he does have another island. And, Ben has been able to play through this Icy, but as we know, that's not all that Icy Manipulator does. It's also going to just start tapping down whatever the best thing is. Boy, you got to love this curve out from Noah Walker.
Yeah, quite powerful.
Yeah, plays a 4-drop, tap your thing. Now he just skips a step of tapping to cast Grunn, the Lonely King.
And the Icy much less relevant now anyways after Ben's hit both 2 sources of Swamp and Island. So
that's right.
Now it's just going to become the back-breaking tap a creature down later in the game, as it always is.
Okay, well, it looks like it's going to force the issue here on Ben Stark. He's going to have to use Vicious Offering, sacrificing his Caligos Skin Witch to take down Grunn the Lonely King. But That's a big play. I
Yeah.
mean, that he needed to do that, and he got that in while Noah was tapped out, and now Noah has no pressure again. This helps.
It does, especially with the Icy Manipulator. It makes it so those saplings are much more likely to get in.
Right.
Looks like Noah is still prioritizing tapping the lands, though, especially since Ben missed one on the previous turn.
Okay, here's Rona, but no historic targets in the graveyard just yet, and she's looking a little slow to try to get the value plan going, but still a 2/2 actually is a welcome addition against all these saplings. Strangely enough, she's a pretty good blocker here.
I think I might have actually just let Ben untap with the 4th mana last turn and maybe tap the Deathbloom Thallid, because with 4, maybe 5 mana, it's unlikely he's going to play 2 creatures on that last turn. And so, you know, you tap the Thallid, Ben plays the Rona. Well, you can tap the Rona on your turn and then get in with all of your 1/1 creatures or 1 power creatures. I guess he's not in a rush, though, especially when he has, like, Josu Vess, Mending of Dominaria. He can go pretty late game, but the aggro player in me wants to aggressively tap. Looks like Swamp was tapped down once again. We know Noah has at least, what, 1 Omnivore in his deck, Thallid Omnivore. So that's a good good card to have in conjunction with all of these tokens. Ah, and here he goes. He's tapping down the Deathbloom. Getting in there. That is a quick clock, Marshall.
Oh, yeah. This one could be over quite quickly. Get to see the raw power of Icy Manipulator. One of the better cards in the format, kind of full stop.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
At uncommon and colorless, you see it everywhere.
Probably too good for limited, I would say, but
Oh, definitely.
this looks like a weight of memory.
Yeah, weight of memory for Ben Stark, but that is really not what he wants to be doing with his mana at this point.
I wonder why Ben is milling Noah when he knows that Noah has a Mending of Dominaria.
I mean, I think because he's dead. You know, not literal dead, but normally you wouldn't do that with somebody who you've seen has graveyard recursion.
Right, right.
Also, it's really common in these black-green decks to have a copy of Soul Salvage or a Memorial to Folly to be able to interact with your graveyard.
Oh, there's the red, though.
There's the Sulfur Falls. But he's going to go with Skin Witch.
All right, so
Is there anything they can have at this point? Let's see.
2 fungal infections, and no.
This is lethal.
Splash Radiating Lightning, Marshall.
He actually had it.
Holy moly. Okay.
Wow, I actually thought about that and just thought there's no way he's splashing it, but boy, of course he's splashing it.
That was disgusting.
He also got to kill the Deathbloom Thallid in that exchange, too.
Well, the thing is, he's still so far behind, but hey, that is one of the ways to get back in this game.
Yeah, but he just needs like a creature. Look at this.
Yep,
He's actually
yep.
evened up now. He's getting in. Knocking to 9.
Wow.
Look at Ben Stark go.
I would not have expected Radiating Lightning, but hey, this is why you put these cards in your sideboard. And,
Totally.
you know, he was already running red anyways, so.
That is a beating. Wow, Ben really found the line here.
So I'm wondering, like, he didn't see much game 1 from Noah, right? I mean, he's playing green-black, so you can figure he's running some number of saplings.
For sure.
But it was the Josu Vest that finished him off in game 1. I wonder if he's... Let's take a look at his sideboard here.
I mean, probably just a safe bet, right?
Yeah, just 1 lightning in the sideboard.
Here's Josu Vess from Noah Walker, but no kicker this time. Still a major issue for Stark, as Josu Vess has Menace and is 4-powered, so they are representing a lethal threat.
Garna!
Oh, Garna the Blood Flame.
Well, look at the life totals here. Noah is not at a healthy life total himself.
Well, he's dead outside of the Icy.
Exactly.
Still, Ben has some work to do here. He doesn't get to just win this turn unless he has another 3-powered creature.
Right, because it gets haste.
Oh, look at this. He gets to get in for 3 here, and knock Noah down to 3 life. Ben Stark, everybody. Oh, my God.
So I wonder if that weight of memory is going to come back to bite him, though. Remember how you said because the game was over? It's very possible.
It obviously was not over.
This is an Allosaurus? Wow, it is.
Oh, my God. These guys are not messing around at this point. Ben so close to taking that game down, but now all of a sudden he's in a precarious position once again where Noah can say, tap down your threat. Ben has no real attacks. And if Ben doesn't add to the board or kill the Allosaurus, then Noah can just go for it on his turn. Oh, but he actually has something. Though he can force Ben to chump block with this flyer, the Cloud Reader Sphinx, if Noah has something else to add to the board.
Yes, if he can find something else. But the problem is, that Ben is scrying. So if Noah sees Ben scry at least one of the cards to the top, you might not want to go for that play,
Explain.
Well, so if you go for the aggressive tap down on the Fire Fist, you attack with your Allosaurus, sure, you get to eat the Cloud Reader Sphinx.
Yeah.
But your opponent's untapping with 2 creatures. You only have 1 blocker. Maybe if you draw a creature, you have a second. But what card would Ben have topped?
Some type of removal spell, right.
I was pondering over this last one.
Oh, man.
It could just be a creature then.
Yeah, that absolutely is the case. Also, this is the time where Noah Walker's going to want to pay close attention to whatever's Ben is saying to Eric.
Right.
A
bunch of haymakers, this one.
Man, Ben is putting on a clinic here for us, though. Noah has to just be sitting there thinking, I had this. This game was over.
It killed what? 2 elves, 4 saplings, and it finished off a Thallid?
Yes.
Was that what the radiant
those things happened. It also did 3.
Also lightning bolt?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what Noah goes for. Oh, he is going to make this play, Marshall. What did he find?
Oh, he found a nice one.
Pretty big one.
A Baloth Gorger 7/7.
Blink of an eye, eviscerate. I mean, there are so many things that Ben might have done.
Urgaros, the empty one, was a draw step for Stark. But he's going to be forced to chump with that, too.
Yeah, so he can go for the double. He can force the double chump now.
He can, yeah. This is that Icy Manipulator plus the decent draw steps here were just good enough.
Okay, but
for
this
Noah.
is the turn that Ben could still find a removal spell for that Jozu.
Does he find some way to get Josephus out of the way? Oh, he found Divination. Oh, my God. It is legendary. He didn't find Cast Down, did he?
No.
Ben, you didn't find Cast Down, did you? It is still legendary.
Oh, jeez.
If he did find it, he cannot kill Josephus with Cast Down. He goes land go. Oh, my God. Noah Walker, does he just go for it? Does he just say tap your thing?
I think so.
And in. And that's going to do it. Noah Walker finds it. And he did have Cast Down at the end, too.
Dude.
So close for Stark.
Oh, look at Noah's hand, though. He did have the mending as well as a fungal infection, so he was pretty safe regardless.
Very safe.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a heck of a game. Paulo doesn't look impressed.
Neither does
Paulo
Eric.
must have been the one that said, yes, it's still legendary. Sorry, Ben.
Well, these players are still live for the top 4, though, with 2 losses, if they can still rattle their wins out.
That's right. But that is the match, by the way, because as we noted here, Eli Cassis did defeat Paulo Vitor Damarosa up on the top table 2-1. Welcome back to the booth, by the way. And so that was them knocking off the team of triple Hall of Famers, and that's an impressive thing to do. And Noah had to earn it. Nothing easy against Ben Stark.
Radiating lightning.
Radiating lightning.
Oh,
it's like you don't necessarily expect it, but it did get him there. But it turns out Icy Manipulator plus a string of 4 to 8 mana spells after that were enough to get the job done there for Noah Walker. Oh, it sounds like we have an interview down on the feature match floor. Let's head into that. Noah, what's up, man? That was a crazy game, dude.
It was insane.
Radiating lightning out of Ben Stark. Did you expect that?
Not at all. I saw the Splash Color game 1, so I assumed he maybe had some removal, like a Fight with Fire or like Shivan Fire or something. And when he played that, I was like, oh my God! I thought he was dead for sure. Like I was certain he was dead. But
we were too, by the way. We were talking about where should we go next?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and then all of a sudden he just cast Radiating Lightning and your board disappears.
Yeah.
And then it became a really close fight down the
Yeah.
stretch. What was going through your mind during that part of it?
To be completely honest with you guys, I thought I was dead as possible when he cast the Radiating Lightning. I was like, man, we're just dead. Especially when he milled me with the draw spell and hit like 3 live spells.
Was
I was
that
like, man,
interesting? Yeah.
yeah. I don't know why. I guess he just, I don't know his reasoning there, but like, I thought I was dead. Drew really well after that point. Icy is just a ridiculous Magic card, clearly.
So tell us, when do you go more offensive with Icy Manipulator versus when do you stay defensive?
Sure,
we
yeah,
liked it. You were tapping creatures down on your turn to get in attacks.
Yeah. So I try to stay defensive as possible when I'm like, kind of behind in a game or like don't have a very aggressive presence. But when I can use it as sort of like a tempo advantage, tap something on my turn and then do it again and like make them have to play more blockers, and I use like that. But I actually kind of use it more defensively at the start of the game.
Yeah,
right.
Because I just played it on 3 or whatever, because I just had a nice draw with 2 Llanowar Elves, and then just got to keep tapping down a land. I think maybe I could have gotten aggressive like 1 turn sooner than I did, and it might have changed the game, but...
Oh, boy, that was a fun
Wow,
one
yeah.
to watch, though.
It was crazy.
How are your guys' decks today? You came in with a stellar record, and you're still there sitting at X-1. Are you guys happy with your pool for today?
Yeah, honestly, I like our pool today better than I did yesterday.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's nice. My deck today, it's very similar to yesterday's deck, except for yesterday I'd have like no win cons and all like do nothing, and today I have all win cons and no do nothing.
Dude, game 1 was pretty nice, too. We
Oh,
got to see
you guys saw
kick
that?
Joseph
I was
Best on
hoping.
camera.
I was hoping. Oh my god, I was
Or,
hoping.
like, it was like you like got back your Gorger and milled land, and then
Yep.
you milled like land
Omnivore.
and another thing. and
Yeah,
it was,
it was
like,
insane.
Wow, that worked out well.
It was so insane. I was like, well, that was best possible.
Yeah,
Like,
and we were thinking that too, but we didn't know that you had Josu Vest.
I drew Josu that turn.
Oh my
I drew
god!
Josu that turn.
Hello, friend.
Yeah, I was like, oh god. I was like, this is gonna be disgusting.
Oh, that was so great. And then I still can't believe game 2. We saw Ben. I don't know if you noticed this too, but he looked at the card in his hand, and I'm like, that isn't cast down, is it? Because your creature stage legendary.
Yeah, on the last turn.
Yeah, and I saw him turn to the side and ask his teammate.
Yeah, he's
who
like,
was
PB, does
Paulo.
this do it?
Yeah, and I'm like, no, Ben, it does
No.
not do it. And we figured it was cast down from that stretch. So
Yep.
you got by the Hall of Famer. In fact, you're facing 3 Hall of Famers this round, but it looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
Eli Cassis beat Paulo as well. You guys are at X-1 looking pretty good here.
Yeah,
Just,
feeling good.
Keep the train on the tracks, and hopefully we'll see you in the top 4. Noah, good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks so much, guys.
Yep. Wow, he really brought the excitement
Oh,
for us. That he drew the Josu Vest that turn also. That is
To be fair, it might have been milled and it would just bounce back anyway. Oh, no, on the third. Never mind. On the
yeah,
third turn,
this
yes.
is after the 3rd
Right,
chapter,
right.
and he's just
Oh.
like, he gets 3 extra lands in play already, or 4 or whatever, and then anyway. That
GG.
was awesome. Great way to start the day for Kenji and I in the booth. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more here from GPDC.
I'm Chuck Lucas. I'd like to encourage everybody to come to the shows and experience all of the wonderful artists that are involved. Come by, get your card signed, buy yourself a print or some original art. Have yourself a good game.
Grand Prix, Washington, D.C. This is Ken Jagashare. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. Thanks so much for joining us for coverage of Team Sealed here early on day 2. We're going to be booster drafting later in the day, team draft style, but that's only in the top 4 at these tournaments. So we've still got multiple rounds of Team Sealed. But Team Sealed's actually insane because these are the best version of limited decks that you're going to see, period. They're better than draft decks. They're way better than team draft decks that we're going to see later, which is kind of a different animal. But for now, we've got Time Walk, and we're going to be lining that up from the beginning. So we've got a bit of extra time, as you may have noticed. Our initial match, while action-packed, went pretty quickly, and that means that we've got a little extra time here. So we're going to start off with Pete Ingram. Pete, you'll recognize him. He actually worked at Wizards of the Coast for a while. Mm-hmm. He's back battling, though, in the trenches once again, and he's got a Llanowar Elves to kick things off right into a Yavimaya Sap Herd. Meanwhile, G, well, just a land so far, so you can see the power of Llanowar Elves here, especially if Pete's able to deploy a 4-drop next turn. Llanowar Elves on the play is nasty.
Yeah, I have to imagine the majority of Llanowar Elves that were open this weekend were being played in the green decks. Okay, this is not a bad one from Z, though. You know, this Druid does allow similar starts that the Llanowar Elves also does. Kind of just a setup turn here for Peter.
Oh, but we found a fight here with Ancient Animus, and while that card hasn't performed extremely well, it's an okay card in some decks. Boy, that was a good use for it there.
Yeah.
My goodness. And it looks like G's going to change turns here. Krosan Druid's just going to get cast. He may have had ideas on kicking that Krosan Druid at some point thanks to the Elfham Druid, but no.
Well, you think of it like this, like a 2-3 on turn 3 might end up blocking or preventing 10 damage anyways. So
great point. Yeah, it's at least going to hold back the Saproling and the Sap Herd. And now we have Gorger for Pete Ingram, but also for G. So a precarious situation for G, but he's stable. He's going to snap off the block and wants to maintain this board state. As you can see, G went a little deeper here. 3 colors already on the other side of the battlefield.
He's got to be pretty happy with that trade, honestly. Peter basically had priority since he was able to attack with the Gorger first, and not having a trick there really makes it so G, well, with his 3-color deck, is probably going to be playing some more relevant, more powerful cards, I would imagine.
Definitely. Well, not this turn. Now, Dark Bargain, really solid card, but doesn't affect the board and, in fact, makes racing a little tough. So G's going to have to take a turn off here.
Yeah, he casts his main phase, presumably because he has like a Llanowar Elf himself, just in case he found a 1-drop.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you see people do that when they're trying to hit their land drops, but that's not the case here.
I think he found an Eviscerate in a land.
Reasonable.
Yeah, and still the 2-3, does well on this board.
It does. He will be taking 3 from the Knight of New Benalia, but
he
whatever.
Probably just takes the trade, honestly. All right, I was wrong.
Well, I think he wants to hold. I mean, it's holding back the other 3 creatures.
Sure, I guess if he doesn't have any other creatures in his hand, this makes sense.
That's what I would assume from the no block.
Now, Peter didn't actually do anything that turn,
He really didn't. He has 5 mana available. Perhaps a card like Blessed Light comes to mind as maybe G goes, here's my big bomb, and he goes, kill it. Nope. Turns out it's Spore Swarm. And I'm assuming that he's past the turn back then?
Yep. Yeah, I don't think he wanted to use an Eviscerate on any of those smaller creatures. The problem is...
Well, he's going to fall too far behind now.
Exactly. If he didn't have a creature play, then he might want to have done it anyways. Because now I think Peter's probably just going to right-click attack all,
This is a what would Kenji do situation, and I know exactly what Kenji would do.
No Radiating Lightnings, potentially, for the blowouts.
It's one of the few colors that G's not playing. That's on my radar now.
Yeah. That's 8 damage.
Yeah, that is no joke, and it's definitely come to the point where Ingram can afford to just straight throw away cards. And somehow G, wow, that was weird.
Yeah.
Played main phase Dark Bargain, then just did nothing for the rest of the game.
Right.
Just land, never cast another spell.
I mean, even if he had eviscerated the 3-1 the turn after he cast Dark Bargain, I don't think he was in a great position
He would have taken 5 and been
at 6.
Been at 6 life. I mean, It is tenable there. Like,
Right, it is.
He would have needed to still find a creature, but
Which, yeah.
which he didn't do. But Pete Ingram swiftly picks up game number 1, and it looks like we have a very aggressive deck from Liu Yu Chen, who we've seen have some good success at the Pro Tour level, by the way. But he's got the Sparring Construct, our second one of those of the weekend, Kenji. It has not done well on camera. Let's see if Liu can make it work better.
Similarly, I think it was also in another white deck, wasn't it?
It was.
Okay.
It was a white-black deck. Windgrace Acolyte for Andrew Tenjum. Kenji, did you know Windgrace Acolyte is a...
Cat.
That's correct.
Thank you. Warrior, I think.
Correct also. The artwork would make you think that it's like a drake
Yeah.
or some type of little dragony bat thing or whatever, but it's actually a cat riding one of those.
It's referencing the cat, right?
The more you know.
Lord Windgrace.
What's Lord Windgrace?
He's the cat they're referencing from
Oh,
the storyline way back. Oh, my
sorry.
gosh,
I
Marshall.
didn't know. Actually, I didn't. My did you knows ended with that as a cat.
Danatha with a Forebears Blade is...
That is extremely problematic for Andrew Tenjum.
who only has, what, 4 or 5 toughness on the board anyways?
Man, double vigilance
That's
never taps.
that's why we signed up for this.
The whole first strike lifelink trample is not bad either.
Ah, okay, the Knight token's actually attacking in to Danatha. Could be signifying Adamant Will, Gideon's Reproach. Oh.
Helm of the Host. Now, the question is it too slow at this point, given the life total deficit and the fact that Danatha Capuchin is such a great attacker, effectively preventing any type of race situation?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too late because Andrew attacked with that 2/2 Knight last turn. Again, signifying that he has some kind of pump effect or trick.
That he has
Reproach or Adamant Will, I think.
Adamant Will's the
Yeah.
one that comes to mind, yeah.
Both of those would deal with the Danatha.
In which case, the Helm of the Host would be clean to take over
Yes.
the board going forward. Okay.
And I've seen Helm of the Host on Windgrace Acolyte before. It is a little bit scary. You do mill yourself quite a bit, but the life gain is quite nice. Plus, I mean, 3
Wow.
power of haste every
Look at
turn.
this. Liu Chen's going for it. He says, okay, fine, show me.
Okay, so this could mean that Liu now has
He has Adamant Will.
a reverse trick. Yeah.
He does. He has Adamant Will in his hand. This is awesome.
So this could be a huge blow up because now Andrew's like, okay, well, you didn't block last turn, but now you're attacking when you know I have something as well. So it's a little cat and mouse game here. Or in this case, cat and knight game, Marshall.
I think I feel like calling in the cavalry here. Is Jake around here? Can I get somebody else?
Wow, so tapping
for a
out
little
for
while.
the cavalry.
Yeah, I think that Liu has correctly decided that if there is a trick in hand for Tenjum that
Yep.
threatens Danatha, that it's a combat-based thing.
Exactly, otherwise it would have already died.
Right, and that's really smart. And also being a 27 life, it's not like he's forced to block with Danatha Capuchin at any
Exactly.
point here. So,
Just so hard to race her.
by the way, the sparring construct has not looked good every time we've seen it.
Well, you know, the Sparring Construct with Forebears Blade is actually not that bad.
I mean,
Right? It forces a block, plus then it puts a counter on something.
Yes. The problem with that argument, Kenji, is that you, like, even a 1/1 Sapperling with Forebears
right.
Blade's pretty good.
Yeah, and I tell this to, when I'm streaming to my chat frequently, you don't play bad cards to make your good cards better, because your good cards are already good, right? And Forebears Blade is already a good card.
Interestingly as well, Liu Yu Chen, perhaps valuing hidden information, has had a short sword in his hand for the last 2 turns that he could just put on the
Yep,
table.
A free one. Mhm.
Yeah, but he's decided not to.
Sure. If he's not going to use the mana and equip it anyways, then
Mhm.
it makes sense to just play it on a relevant turn and kind of get that unknown information from your opponent. And there you go. 0 mana short sword. Looks like it's going to move on to either the Sparring Construct. And that makes a lot of sense, as if it does move on to the Sparring Construct, it would allow the Construct to trade with any of those other creatures. But of course, you could just put it on the trampling Danitha.
I'm kind of relieved to see Danitha Capuchin just doing the equipment thing.
Right.
Because she's so good. Clearly built for equipment.
Yep.
Making them cheaper, and then her abilities work so well with upping her power really in any way. But oftentimes, you don't see her with equipment. She's just a really good 3-drop that
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, does all the things
Yeah.
that you expect.
All right, so it looks like the team's full attacking here. That is a 6-3 Danitha right now. Yeah, this is awkward for Andrew, as a single chump on Danitha still means he's going to take at least 4 trample damage, which means any of the 2 power creatures must be blocked as well. So a lot of the board is going to get wiped here.
Come on, Sparring Construct, get in there.
And this is a little bit risky because Andrew was feigning something the previous turn with that Night Attack, but hey.
Liu Yu Chen just had the sick read, I guess.
I guess,
He's just
yeah.
like, you don't have it, I'm going for lethal.
All right. Wow.
Boy, if he had Gideon's reproach
if he had a reproach, that would have been a complete blowout.
I think I would have taken my headset off, thrown it on the ground, and walked out of the building.
You're not even playing.
Yeah. Tells you something, doesn't it? Well, the good news is that's not what happened. So we've got Qi Wentao now with Tempest Jin.
Oh, wait, but if he had reproach, the Forebear's Blade would re-equip itself.
That's true.
Before, no, but that wasn't lethal still.
I don't know. I didn't do the math.
No,
on
yeah,
that.
it wouldn't have been lethal.
I assumed it wasn't. I should have asked you, but what if it was just lethal anyway?
What do you mean?
No, I'm saying like he could have equipped it to whatever had the least toughness.
Oh, yeah, but he would have only taken 3 or 4 damage.
Okay.
And he was at 6, right? So
he was at 6.
Yeah.
Yes. Now he's at 0.
Now he's in another game.
Well, I know which side of the board I like here.
The one with a 4/4 flyer.
That's
for 3.
the one. Yeah, versus the 1/2 and the 2/3 vanilla. I think I like that a little better.
Should I play my Cloud Reader Sphinx or my foil Cloud Reader Sphinx?
To hide information, I like it.
Ooh.
Oh, how about Adeliz? Kaboom. Wow, this is
nice
nasty. One. Says no Shivan Fire, please. And gets in for 6 damage. So this clock against Petr Sahurek is very real. And this is a big turn right away.
Yep.
Petr's got to stabilize this board. He's going to have access to a lot of mana. And there are multiple spells that he could use to do so, but he's going to need to, or this game's going to end very, very quickly. And you look at the standings here, or the game count, and Wentao's actually up already. All right, so it's going to be Fiery Intervention.
Oh, but a
Syncopate for 1 for Wentao. He skillfully kept that up.
Wow. Well, notably, even if Petr actually had another land, the Arcanist could have let the Syncopate be cast for 2.
That's right.
But yeah, that's probably just going to be all she wrote this game.
Yeah, that is not looking good. Remember, the Arcanist is also a wizard.
Yep.
So it's picking up +1/+1. If there's another spell, it might even get in the red zone.
Absolutely.
Boy, oh boy. What a swing. That was a critical juncture in this match between these two, and it went firmly in Wentao's favor.
Wentao actually has, let's see, how much damage? 5, 6, 7, 8 now? Holy moly. As that 5th island pumps up the Tempest.
Yeah.
And Divination.
Was a trigger. Oh,
Yep.
wait, he might actually be going for more here, Kenji. No. Just 8, as we say in the business. Down to 6, go, and he's left up some very ominous mana there. If I'm Petr, not much you can do about it, but if Wentao has another counterspell, say a Wizard's Retort or something like that, the game's probably over.
Well, it looks like he has a Time of Ice in his hand, so
Yep.
Petr does have a little bit of stabilization. But the problem is he just hasn't been racing at all either. You know, his board is so poor. He hasn't been able to peck in for even a few points of damage. And so the Time of Ice just buys him time. That's all it does. The Adeliz has haste, so when it does get bounced eventually, you know, he can just recast it and haste away.
Unfortunately for him, yeah, the Cloud Reader Sphinx just too small. Could find himself in a really bad position where if Wen Tao just goes island,
Yep.
now he's forced to chump block.
Oh, he's got to get lucky with a haphazard
He's gonna
bombardment.
Play the bombardment. So 4 targets. He's going to target 3 creatures in a mountain. Oh, but look at this Merfolk Trickster.
End of turn, tapping down.
And now we're going to roll a dice here. See
Come
what goes
on,
away.
Tempest.
Oh, and it hit the mountain, and it needed to not hit the mountain. And that's going to be game as Petr Sahuric extends the hand. And Qi Wentao wins 2-0. That's 1 match towards the team on the right. And remember, these teams are at 8-1. This is some very high-level stuff happening at this point.
Wen Tao had some nice sleeves. I think you were rooting for him anyways.
Didn't notice.
Did you?
Oh, boy.
That is a Shalai with a bunch
With a
of
lot
creatures.
of green mana.
Oh,
It
and a
looks like-
Shauna.
Yeah, Peter Ingram has completely
Oh
gone
my
off here.
gosh, this game is over.
Definitely. Yeah, Shaughnessy says Legacy. Yeah, this. There's a Llanowar Elves up there too for an activation, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, okay, well. GG. This is the type of situation that you dream of when you have Shalai.
Absolutely.
What normally happens is you just win the game because she's a 3/4 flyer for 4, and that's hard to deal with. But you know, this is the high end scenario, the one that you really hope for, and this game has to just be over. There's no flying blockers on the other side.
Yeah, all those creatures have hexproof.
Yeah.
Shauna with super hexproof
Right,
even.
and you see the Pegasus Courser ready to pick up Shauna.
So Shauna's now what, a 2,
She's
4,
in
6, 7, 7?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's game.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to even things up as far as matches go. Pete Ingram with the 2-0 over Ji Yamin, and Qi Wentao has beaten Petr Sahuric as well. So it's all going to be between Liu Yu Chen and Andrew Tenjum. And as we saw when we popped in last time, Liu Yu Chen finishing off Andrew Tenjum, so he's got to kind of do it again.
Oh, there's a reason to be running the sparring construct, Marshall.
Okay, and it's actually triggering right now. So it looks like he's got a pretty hardcore historic theme
Yes.
here, and that's what the construct's about. And when you also have multiple equipment, that construct, okay, I'm
Yeah.
on board. We did it. By the way, there's Ariel on the other side for Andrew Tenjum, though. That is a big problem, and he's even got the combo. Knight of Malice to go with it. Spot you a knight.
Well, Helm of the Host also would be producing some more knights. So.
Right.
Now remember, Ariel, you have to tap herself in addition to the number of knights. So
But that works here.
No, that works
Right now,
here.
he can just kill something with 2 power, like Tashar.
Yep. And with Vigilance, you can actually attack first.
The token also has haste. You know, this is interesting because Andrew may be able to just turn this into a race in his favor. He's creating 4/4s for free every turn now.
Oh, I thought the race was already in his favor.
Yeah. Well, he is facing down a Juggernaut.
Sure. I mean, you have a Knight of Malice. It's a 3/2 first striker.
Fair enough. So he's going to actually leave that back to block the Juggernaut. And Sparring Construct is going to do what Sparring Construct does best. Soak up 4 damage.
Yep.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult for Liu Chen to get out of.
And this makes a lot of sense from Andrew's perspective, right? You don't want to just tap out to kill a 2/2 right now and then potentially take some lethal on the crackback, right?
I don't.
Yeah, I think. Oh, but he is going to go for it, though. If he kills a Tashar here, he's facing down 9 damage. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to wait. I was going to say, that's a little bit risky, but it's a little bit risky the other way, too, because now if, you know, Liu finds a historic card, he gets to start bringing back some more creatures. But I just think that the power of the Helm of the Host is going to take over that game.
Right, and he should lean on that because that's just stupid, right?
Yeah.
Like, Helm of the Host on aerial. Come on.
Right.
Like,
You don't mind taking a hit for 2, and maybe you're letting your opponent get back their sparring construct if you're still just going to produce more 4/4s every turn.
Andrew Tenjum just not living in the real world for a while there.
I mean, in white, Lou has access to things like Invoke the Divine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is the determining game.
This is, after 2 quick 2-0s, Andrew Tenjum and Liu Yu Chen are facing off. And what's going to be the decider for the round? And this is an important one. Let's not forget, there's not a lot of wiggle room to make it into the top 4. Generally speaking, we expect an X-2 record to make it in. So with a loss here, the team will be up against it and really not have any wiggle room to lose for the rest of the day. We're playing 6 rounds as well, and this is only the second one, so 4 in a row is hard.
It is.
And on that same tip, though, if you flip it around and you've got to go out of the next 4 rounds, you can lose one of them and win the rest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you got a good pool and you have a good team, you can do that. Like, that is striking range for top 4. So this is a big turning point for these guys.
Well, especially since you expect the decks just to get better and better, right? Like you were mentioning. Yep, you were mentioning that the team sealed decks are just going to be so much higher in power level than anything else that you've experienced in this limited format. And we've seen that time and time again. All of these decks, for the most part, have just been absurd.
Yeah, you also get something kind of interesting here on day 2 where you can have a team that went 8-0 yesterday because they had great players and a great pool. But they can open a really bad pool today and still have a very good record. So it's interesting. It's not this linear thing that you see normally where it just gets better and better and better and better. So that was Fungal Infection to kill Sarah Disciple. And now we have relatively even board states with the exception of Danitha Capuchin once again proving her worth. Ooh, Andrew Tenjum in there. Only 1 white mana available for Lou. Does he want to risk Danitha Capuchin with a block?
Similar to attack that we saw in game 1, actually, with the Knight into the Danitha.
He may just choose to block with the Mesa Unicorn, even though the Danitha, of course, if there is no trick, is a much better block. He's going to go for it. No fear. Gift of Growth, what do you got? No, there's no green mana, is there? Oh, no, it's all black?
Healing
Grace.
Grace.
There's 1 white. Healing Grace.
It
works.
I like that as a sideboard card.
I do too, actually. People always make fun of Healing Grace, but every time I've brought it in, which admittedly has only been twice ever, it's been great. It did exactly that.
Yep.
It saved my creature, and hey, I'll take the life gain for free.
For only 1 mana as well. Is this another Fungal Infection? So it looks like he had multiple tricks last turn. He could have Healing Graced or used a Fungal.
I see. That's a Memorial to Folly, the foil up there?
Yep.
Okay. Well, this turn not so great for Liu Yu Chen.
Oh, no.
He is going to fall way behind here. Sparring Construct not doing anything. And there's Aerial for Andrew Tenjum. That's a major step forward for that team. If Lou doesn't hit a land drop or remove Aerial, I think we can call this one.
I think this is pretty much over. You need to have a Seal Away and Tenjum to tap the Ariel, or you need to go like land, Blessed Light. There aren't too many things that white can do with this few mana.
Yeah, and this is where the aggro take, and this is a very aggressive deck, multiple Mesa Unicorns and Sparring Construct really starts to fall flat because these 4 drops from Tenjum are just so clearly outclassing what Lou is doing. Lou needs to be ahead in order to make these cards good, and the fact that he's this far behind makes it almost impossible, especially when you consider the sick combos that Tenjum has put together now with Call the Cavalry and Aerial. I mean, he's got a Knight theme deck now.
Yeah, able to kill the Mesa Pegasus before it could even be declared as a blocker. Sparring Construct doesn't want to jump in front of anything, especially when you don't have another creature to give the counter to. This is a lot of vigilance damage next turn.
Yeah, Juggernaut not at all what Liu Yu Chen wants to see.
Yeah, and in fact, Andrew could just pass this turn if he doesn't have a great attack. Maybe just attack with the Deathbloom Thallid.
Or he could just rip a cast down and kill and just start smashing again. He's going to get in, clear the board, and that's going to be game. Andrew Tenjum, Petr Sahurik, and Peter Ingram are going to sweep this one and improve to 9-1 here, Kenji. So, again, really important for them. That is a fantastic place to be. Now, the other team, they're still in. Let's not forget that. X and 2 is still live. But, boy, they're going to be doing the, like, okay, guys, let's not make any mistakes because they don't have any room to give. Now they're going to have to win out for the rest of the day. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll have the next round of action here from DC. Don't go anywhere.